Shane van Gisbergen just walked away from one of the biggest penalty decisions of the NASCAR season. He wrecked another driver on purpose, or so it looked, and NASCAR spent days digging through radio calls, in-car cameras, and lap-by-lap data. In the end, officials found nothing that proved intent. But the story does not end there, because Austin Hill was not done either. It happened at Chicagoland Speedway on Sunday, July 5. The race was the €400, and it was one of the biggest series weekends of the summer. Fans packed the stands. Nobody expected the loudest headline of the weekend to come from two cars fighting for 28th place, way outside the top 10. Van Gisbergen drives the number 97 for Trackhouse Racing. Hill drives the number 33 for Richard Childress Racing. On lap 48 of Stage 1, the two cars were battling deep in the pack. Van Gisbergen's car hit the back of Hill's car. Hill's Chevrolet spun and slammed into the wall. The damage was so bad his night was over before it even got going. He finished 37th. Van Gisbergen's team did not sound worried on the radio. He told them the contact was an accident. He said he was tight in the corner, chasing clean air, and clipped Hill's bumper trying to find room. That is his story, and he stuck with it after the race, too. He went on to finish 25th, one lap down. But Hill's team did not buy it for 1 second. Richard Childress, the owner of Hill's team, got on the radio right away. He called the hit blatant and said it was on purpose. He said it was payback. And he had a reason to think that because 2 weeks earlier, at the street course in San Diego, Hill's car had wrecked Van Gisbergen and his own teammate, Connor Zilisch, in one move. That crash ended both of their days early, too. After the race, Hill did not hold back, either. He told reporters that if people could not see what happened, they probably needed glasses. So now everyone is asking the same question. Did Van Gisbergen get his revenge at Chicagoland? Here is where it gets interesting. Hill was not finished either. After the wreck, Hill's crew told him to head back to the garage. He drove down pit road under caution, slow, with no reason to rush. Except he was not thinking about the garage. He was thinking about Van Gisbergen. His team told him over the radio to keep the big picture in mind. They said it twice. They knew what he might do. They tried to stop him. It did not work. As Hill left pit road, he found Van Gisbergen's car and drove straight into it, hitting the left front under caution right in front of everyone. Van Gisbergen radioed his team and said the other car had hit him. No anger, no yelling, just a report. 2 drivers, 2 hits, 1 race. And after all of that, NASCAR handed out 0 penalties to either one. Stick around because the reason why is where this story gets even bigger. NASCAR's penalty report came out 2 days later on Tuesday. Fans expected at least one name on it, maybe both. Instead, neither Van Gisbergen nor Hill showed up on the list at all. The only penalty from the entire Chicagoland weekend went to a pit crew in a different series. 2 crew members from Jeremy Clements Racing were suspended for 2 races after a left rear wheel came off their car during Saturday's O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. That crew got punished. 2 Cup Series drivers involved in intentional-looking wrecks did not. NASCAR Vice President Mike Ford explained the decision on the Hauler Talk podcast. He said several people in race control, including former drivers, saw the hit live and immediately flagged it as questionable. So they started digging. They pulled every radio transmission from both cars. They checked in-car camera angles from every lap. They reviewed data from the entire race, not just the one moment. They were looking for what Ford called a smoking gun, something that would prove without doubt that Van Gisbergen meant to wreck Hill. They never found it. Ford said it plainly, nothing proved the hit was 100% intentional. It looked bad. It looked questionable, but looking bad is not enough for NASCAR to take away points or money. Now, here is the part that will make fans even angrier. NASCAR also looked at Hill's retaliation hit under caution. That one was not even shown on live television. Most fans only saw it later from in-car footage that leaked online. NASCAR called that one a moment of emotion and chose to let it go, too. Think about that for a second. One driver crashes another driver's race. That same driver then hunts down the guy who hit him and rams his car under caution in front of officials, and nobody gets a single point taken away. Here is something else that makes this messy. Hill has done this before. Last year, he got suspended for a race in the same series for intentionally wrecking veteran driver Eric Almirola. NASCAR proved that one. This time, they say they could not. Analysts pointed out one key difference between the two cases. The Almirola incident was a right rear hook, a move drivers use specifically to spin someone out on purpose. What happened at Chicagoland did not match that exact pattern, which is part of why NASCAR says the evidence was not as clear. Fans are not the only ones asking questions. Even NASCAR insiders are split. Jamie McMurray, a NASCAR veteran, said the data showed proof that could not be denied. Daytona 500 winner Denny Hamlin said flat out that he believed the move was planned. On a popular NASCAR podcast, analysts Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi spent almost the entire show breaking down whether Van Gisbergen deserved to be punished. On the other side, Van Gisbergen kept saying it was never his intention, and he even apologized to Hill's team after the race. So, who do you believe? The data says one thing to some people and something else to others. NASCAR says the data was not enough. That gap right there is the whole controversy. This is not even the first time this year NASCAR has let something big slide. Van Gisbergen and Hill actually go back further than most fans realize. Their history started in 2024 at the Circuit of the Americas, back when Hill's series was still called the Xfinity Series. The two clashed there first. Later that year, after Van Gisbergen won at Sonoma, Hill gave him the middle finger out the window and did a burnout right next to him. That moment stuck with fans for 2 full years. 2 years of bad blood, and it just keeps building. So, what happens now? NASCAR is not just letting this go quietly. Officials confirmed they will sit down with both Van Gisbergen and Hill. NASCAR Senior Vice President Elton Sawyer already spoke with Hill directly, and he plans to bring both drivers into the same room before Saturday's race. Ford said NASCAR wants to make sure this does not turn into something bigger once the cars get back on track. He said officials want to stop this from turning into a real problem at Atlanta or beyond. That tells you everything. Shane Van Gisbergen escaped a massive penalty this week, just like the title said. No points lost, no fine, no suspension. But escaping the penalty report does not mean escaping the tension. Austin Hill is still furious. Richard Childress is still calling it intentional. And now both drivers have to sit in a room together before Atlanta. NASCAR let it slide once, but Ford's own words leave the door open for a very different outcome if this happens again. Let me know in the comments if you think Van Gisbergen should have been penalized, and stick around for the next update once we find out what happens at Atlanta.